Okay, here's one. I've seen this one floating around, and I really want to get to this one because I do have a few things to say about this, and this really is showing off the sad state of our social interaction these days because it's getting really bad. I mean, chances are, if you're out there and you're watching this, or hell, even if you're not watching this, you've been pointed and screamed at by somebody accusing you of doing something that you're not guilty of. Just, whether it's a Nazi or a racist or a misogynist or a homophobe or a transphobe or what have you, you've been pointed at and accused of something really terrible for no reason, because that's what people do now. And normally that wouldn't be a problem. People have done that forever. People have pointed and gone, people have done that to each other since time immemorial. The problem is that now large companies, corporations are actually listening to that wah. They're actually listening to and coddling the people who are doing that wah. That's our problem right now. These are the people who need to be hit in the pocketbook. Every time some large corporation or some movie company or something like that boots an actor off a stage because someone 40 years ago said he touched me on the butt and I didn't like it. Well, that company needs to be hit in the wallet by everybody. I mean, it needs to be a thing where it's like, I will not watch your movies anymore ever. I just won't until you fix this. So anyway, from NBC News, Neil deGrasse Tyson's Star Talk show pulled amidst sexual misconduct allegations. Star Talk will remain on hiatus as a Fox Network Group investigation into the multiple claims continues. Now, I'm going to make a prediction here, okay? I'm going to make a prediction here, and I'm going to say that sometime in 1914, back when nobody complained about this kind of thing or nobody cared, Neil deGrasse Tyson patted somebody on the butt, and now 200 years later, they're going to pop up and say that they've been traumatized by this incident for the last 200 years, and he's got to pay for it now because this whole time just now came out with it. But trust me, it was bothering them the whole time. They just didn't say anything until just now. That's what I'm gonna bet here. Isn't that gonna be a thing? Let's see here. Los Angeles, National Geographic Channel has pulled its long-running Neil deGrasse Tyson chat show, Star Talk, off the air, at least for now, following allegations of sexual misconduct against the famed astrophysicist. Star Talk will remain on hiatus. Sorry, my tongue is tied today. As a Fox Networks Group investigation into the multiple claims continues. In order to allow the investigation to occur unimpeded, we chose to hold new episodes of Star Talk until it is complete, a Nat Geo representative told Variety. We expect that to happen in the next few weeks, at which time we'll make a final decision. Star Talk returned for its 5th season in November and just aired 3 episodes out of a 20-episode order when new allegations against Tyson emerged. The website Pathos reported that 2 women had accused Tyson of inappropriate behavior. Bucknell University's Dr. Caitlin N. Allers claimed Tyson groped her at an event in 2009 while I called it. While a former assistant, Ashley Watson, said Tyson made repeated inappropriate sexual advances toward her. How? What did he do? Did he just ask her out on a date a few times? I mean, you can't retroactively demonize someone for something that did not used to be inappropriate, but is now. You have to look at what they're doing from now forward. You can't, that's not the way it works. This is not just a witch hunt, okay? This isn't just a witch hunt. This isn't a bunch of people walking in and saying, okay, we're taking over. It is now wrong to do this thing. And if you do this thing, then even though you've done it all your lives and it's been okay, if you do this thing, then we're going to string you up and we're going to put you on a cross and burn you because you're a witch. It's not even, it's worse than that. It's people walking in saying this thing is wrong And it always has been wrong. And if you've ever in your life done this, then we will find out and we will string you up. Even though there was no indication, it wasn't wrong before, but it's wrong now. And I don't like that when people are, well, it was wrong then and it's wrong now. No, that's not the way it works. Morality changes over time. Are you willing to sit there and admit guilt for something that's going to be wrong in 20 years, but isn't now? Are you wearing a blue shirt? What if in 7 years from now, some terrorist group, and they all wear blue shirts, and they go and they blow up a bunch of stuff and they kill a bunch of people in some prominent town somewhere. There's a few copycat ones, and now suddenly it gets big press. People are freaking out, and it becomes anybody who's wearing a blue shirt from that point on is automatically targeted. It's almost like wearing a trench coat after Columbine. Is targeted, so, oh, that's inappropriate to wear that shirt. Are you willing to admit guilt now? That you're wearing a blue shirt right now before that happens? People can't know what morality is going to be later. And so you can't blame them retroactively for something they were doing that was wrong now, but that wasn't before. And what this is looking to me like is that maybe, and I don't even know because there's no evidence, maybe Tyson patted somebody on the butt. Maybe he pinched somebody's leg. Where now we don't touch each other now. It's no, we don't do that. We can't ask a woman out for coffee or otherwise rape. And so I'm thinking that, this is what happened. And now they're blaming him now for something he did when it wasn't wrong. Back to the article. A former assistant, Ashley Watson, said, oh yeah, we already read that. This wasn't the first time Tyson had been accused of misconduct. Musician Chaya Ahmet has claimed that Tyson raped her when they were both graduate students in the 1914s. Star Talk was scheduled to air original episodes through December and up until now, but hasn't been seen on Nat Geo since November 26th. The Star Talk page on Nat Geo's website featured the first 3 episodes of season 5, but makes no mention of the show's current hiatus. Late last year, after the latest allegations, Fox and Nat Geo released a joint statement. We've only just become aware of the recent allegations regarding Neil deGrasse Tyson. We take these matters very seriously, and we are reviewing the recent reports. The show's producers, which include Ann Druyan, Cosmos Studios, and McFarlane's Fuzzy Door Productions, said in a statement last month that they are committed to a thorough investigation of this matter and to act accordingly as soon as it is concluded. For his part, Tyson denied the allegations in a Facebook post and said he welcomed an investigation. In any claim, evidence matters. Evidence always matters. But what happens when it's just one person's word against another's and the two stories don't agree? That's when people tend to pass judgment on who is more credible than whom. And that's when an impartial investigation can best serve the truth. It would have my full cooperation to do so. Okay, so, I believe there needs to be a change made here because this is going insane. It's getting out of control now. And the news likes to cover it when somebody is accused of sexual misconduct or sexual abuse, but they never pick it up afterwards. First of all, it doesn't matter whether or not they find him guilty. He's already done. He's done just because he's been accused. He's guilty of accusation. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it. Did you know, let's take Bill Cosby, for example. Okay? 50 women come out of nowhere and accuse him of rape and sexual abuse. 50 women. You know how many charges that he got actually convicted of? 1. 49 of those women were full of shit. They only found him guilty of 1. Now, I'm going to say this right now. There should be no other number than 0 times that a person rapes a woman or anybody else. That should be 0. This isn't like stealing. It's like if somebody says, well, I've stole 500 things in my life, and somebody else says, well, I just stole 3. Then you can kind of look at the guy who just stole 3 things and go, well, okay, that's not too bad. I mean, everybody's like wound up stealing 1 or 2 things in their lives. That's okay. That's not too bad. No, this is not the case. You know, in the question of how many women have you raped in your life, there is no other acceptable number than 0. It's not like, well, 1's not that bad. He just raped 1. No, that's not how that works. 0 should always be that answer. I have raped 0 people in my life. That is the only acceptable answer. However, I do find it disgusting that there are so many people who are coming out with fake stories, false stories, just to try and get people in trouble because it works now. And I think a change that should be made is that if you come out with a rape claim against someone and it turns out that, you know, in court, that your story is not believed and it turns out that it's not true, you need jail time. The false accusers of rape and sexual abuse, they need to go to jail. They need to have jail time because it doesn't matter if the person's found guilty or not. They're wrecking this person's life. And they need jail time. And I know I've heard, oh, women must be believed. Horseshit. There are no parts that someone carries between their legs that makes them incapable of making mistakes, misremembering things, or lying. That's just horseshit. And I know the argument about, well, some of them are afraid to come forward because they're afraid that they're not going to be believed and not taken seriously. Okay, so then they wait 500 years to come out and talk about it then when there's no evidence and absolutely no chance that they can be taken seriously. That is not a good decision. There's nobody, I mean, what did they, well, I got raped last night, but you know, life goes on. What, no big deal. I'll just keep going. When's the last time you heard of a person pop up? Yeah, it's this person. He broke into my house and he robbed me and he shot me in the leg. But that happened 30 years ago. And I didn't think to report it until now. But it's been hell for me every single day since, but I just didn't report it until now. No, if you don't report immediately when something like this happens, then you're SOL, and you should be SOL. If you get raped, if you get, you know, some sexual, I guess, abuse against you, this whole thing of, well, I'm afraid I'm not going to be taken seriously, you think it's going to get better with time? You think it's going to get better if you come out in 200 years to say, yeah, it's disturbed me this whole time. I don't know why I didn't say anything about it. It just hasn't. No, that's not going to work. So that's what I think. I think jail time for people who make false accusations on this kind of thing. And if something like this does happen to you, report it immediately.